You know. All right. So today we're going to be running the Riton 1 Tactic EED. I mean, it's an optic, so we're going to figure out what's this all about, and I'll give you my opinions whether or not I like it or not. All right, let's move this a little bit. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Big Ball Vlogs, Big Ball Shooting, Big Ball Entertainment. Also, as you may have seen in previous videos, currently running a business under the name of Fundamental Firearms DE. And a couple weeks ago, I shot a little video or a little short on this optic right here, the Riton Tacix 1 EED. And if you don't know what EED stands for, it stands for enclosed emitter, whatever the D stands for, I don't know. But the trend is now going to people going from optics like this, which are open emitter EEDs, or open emitter diodes, or open emitters, which means that the light emitting source on the back is reflected off of the glass, and there's only that one piece of glass in the front. While this is not new by any means, in the pistol, I guess, category, now you have that option for a pistol. So there is a piece of glass on the back, and there's also a piece of glass on the front. I want to keep this point in safe direction, so I'm not going to show you that. And the emitter is actually enclosed. Now, for me personally, you know, I had my opinions about this when I first bought it, because my question was, who needs an aim point acro footprint? And that's where this gets a little bit tricky, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Because I know that I think HoloSun makes their own enclosed emitter optic for something that maybe even uses the same mount, but it just you know, it's just another footprint that I don't know who asked for it or who needs it, right? Because you got RMR, you got Doctor, you got RMSC, you got all these other footprints, which are kind of the standard, which you can go out and buy pistols in all different form factors using those footprints, to something that, to my knowledge, no one actually creates right now. So I don't think anybody creates, without doing some custom work, a pistol that is specifically designed to use an aim point acro footprint. Now, the aim point acro itself footprint, for the optics that are usable on that footprint, they seem to be, in my opinion, very big. This is my first one, which is actually pretty compact. I got it mounted on the FN 545. So this one doesn't take up that much space, but when I see some of the other aim point acro footprint optics out there, which is probably like an aim point acro, it looks like a very large, bulky optic to have on a firearm. So again, without getting into personal choice, because I know a lot of you know, whatever you mount on your pistol is personal choice. I personally do not like the giant, bulky optics on top of my firearms. This one is actually oversized, in my opinion. You guys have seen this gun in the past. This is my Glock 19. And it's got a very large window budget optic on it, which is probably competition size for being able to see through that glass without having to look for that red dot, which right now, where is the red dot? Because I don't even see it. Is it on? Oh, it's on. It's just dialed down really, really, really low. Just turn that up a little bit. Must have turned that down. Okay. So when you're presenting, if you're good at presenting, you're going to find that dot really quickly. And if you know you want to see a lot of field of view, I think for the competition guys, they want a really big window. So maybe that is the purpose of the aim point acro. Maybe you get a really big window, but it's just a lot to put on top of a pistol. So let's talk about this one, the Riton Tactic 1. Not much to talk about. It's an optic. Like I said, there's nothing special about it that I could point out to you. It has side brightness control. It does have, so I'm going to keep this pointed still in a safe direction. I'm going to point it down at the ground. It does have a side mounted battery so that you don't have to take this optic off and change the battery out, which can be a pain in the butt. I didn't realize it, but I did remove the optic off of this pistol and put it back on, and the sights were, and it was totally off. So that one has a bottom mounted battery. So definitely want to go with optics for me personally now to have the side mount battery option. Side mounted battery. It has some very nice, if you can see it here, has some very nice adjustment knobs. One there for your elevation and your windage, and they are 1 MOA clicks, and they're very tactile. So this budget optic does not have a tactile click. When I turn the knob, it just feels smooth. This one has a very tactile click. So far, I'm liking it. As far as fit and finish, like the way that it was built, right? So the way that it was built, it seems like a decent optic. I picked this up from my vendor at a cost of, I don't know, like 140. I think retail on these is about 199. Budget, no, because you can get some decent optics for way less than $199. In fact, for around $199, you can probably get some really decent optics. But for me personally, like, this is, it's probably one of the newer budget options out there, and I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to see what it's about. So back to the Riton. This particular optic, I'm going to point this down at the ground again, keep it pointing in the safe direction, by the way. This weapon is clear and it's empty. Let's put that slide back just so you see that. One of the things that this particular optic offers is it's not, like I said, it's not huge. As you can see right here, it is not full size. It's probably, compared to an RMR footprint, probably like more like an RMSC or a smaller footprint for a compact gun. Which takes me back to the point of who makes a compact gun with an Aimpoint Acro footprint? No one that I know of right now. But again, it's been there's tons of things coming out, and I just keep up with all of them. But what it might mount to, which I know it might market to some of these guys who have Glock MOS 40 or Glock 43 MOSs, which you can just drop a plate in and then get that all mount up and you'll be good to go. Or, like I said, take your slide off, send it to someone who can cut in there for you, and pay probably as much as a gun and the optic together to get it to run, which is not an option I want. I mean, I thought about, like, if they made one, seeing how this would mount up on, my carrier every day is a Taurus G3C. They don't make a plate for that. So, I can't use it. For the Glock, for that cut, for I have an RMR cut, as you saw in my short, it raises the sight too high and it actually blocks the sights, and I don't like that. So my option was to try out the FN 545 mounting plate, which I found from FN, which again was a pain in the butt. It wasn't even worth it because I had to buy the plate, and then when I bought the plate, the screws that actually secure the plate to the pistol are not flush. They are rounded. They're not flat. So the rounded bolts actually stick up a little bit, which I believe are causing this not to sit all the way flush, which I'm going to have to fix. I'm going to have to go to a vendor, find some flat M something screws and put them in so that mounts flush if I decide to keep it on this pistol. But right now I can tell you it's probably not even worth the hassle when I could just mount up an RR or one of the other many footprint plates that I already had and call it a day. As far as the dot goes, I think it's like a 2 MOA dot, and with my glasses on, it is super sharp and round. No problems at all. If I take my glasses off, giving that a quick look, and I have like a little bit maybe of astigmatism, it does start to burst out or star out a little bit. It's not as crisp, but it's still a nice dot. It's not by any means a blurry mess in there that even if it were a blurry mess, as long as you put it on the target, if you can paint that blurry mess on the target, you should hit it. It's a really good dot. And I found that from optic to optic and glass clarity and quality, that can change. I used to love UTG. Actually, I still do love UTG, except for one experience I've had with them, Leapers UTG. For some reason, Leapers UTG with my glasses, without my glasses, because of the glass and the clarity and the quality, actually give me a super clear dot. And it's not the case with all optics. Sometimes I pick an optic up without my glasses and it looks fuzzy. UTG has always been that company that has given me a crisp picture. And what I can tell you right now, without my glasses on, yes, this is a very nice dot with a little bit of star burst around the outside. Not blurry, not U-shaped, not half moon shaped. It is something that I actually could work with. Other than that, there are the negatives, which I'm going to point out right now, which I kind of pointed out in my video, my previous video. And that is how this optic mounts up and how it actually works with the sights. So I'm going to point this down at the ground again, keep it in a safe direction. What you can probably see right here is that the back end of this optic is very thick. And these are suppressor height sights. These are FN factory suppressor height sights. And as you can see with this plate, the sights barely peek over the edge of this sight, which works for me because at least now, I don't know what that was. It looked like it was a pretty big fly or something. At least now I still get to use my iron sights if for some reason this sight were to fail. I think Riton thought about that when they made this, because I'm going to try to do this in a very safe way. I'm going to point the camera in this direction right now. I don't know if you could see this, and I don't know if this is going to be able to be seen. Oh, yeah, you can see it right there. As you can see right here in the back end of this glass, that glass looks like it's sealed with or has some type of coating on it that actually gives you a set of rear sights in the back. So for some reason, if I were not able to see my rear sights, I don't know why, if these were a tad bit shorter, I still have that little set of painted on sights in the back of this optic. And if I can line it up just right, what you would be able to do is get a picture just like, I can't really see it, but I can see the dot in there. You would get a picture just like that, where I can barely make out the half of the dot that I have on the back of my front sight, but I would be able to get enough of a sight picture to still be able to hit my target. And I like that. I like that it was thought out. I like that they thought maybe, hey, you know, because of the thickness and how we have to lay out the electronics on this, we're going to have to do something for these guys that truly don't want to run a pistol or don't want to have a pistol without iron sights, and give you that option. It's kind of redundant, being that I also have a set of iron sights that should match up. But hey, they thought about it. But I think they should have thought a little bit harder on how to reduce the size of that rear, I don't know what you call it, the rear end of this optic, so that I could actually co-witness at least one third co-witness with a pair of suppressor sights to make this a little bit, I don't know, multi-purpose. Because I am one of these guys that I would have rather use iron sights than a red dot. They have a purpose. I know I've argued about it in many videos. As my vision has changed, I have now learned to respect the red dot, because out past 15 yards, that target gets a little bit blurry. And yeah, my confidence goes away when I cannot see my hits. For the red dot, I know that the red dot in some of my qualifications that I've had to take have saved me, because I had to shoot out past 15 yards. And I could actually, I knew that, you know, as long as I paint that dot on that target, I was going to hit it, and it actually works for me. So it has a purpose. It has a function. Some of you guys will build a rifle without iron sights on it. I would never do it. But again, for me, I don't trust the electronics in these things. I don't trust batteries. I don't trust that. I won't drop this and it might get knocked off or bumped, or a screw might come loose, and then I'm going to be shooting all over the place. And that's the reason why I like to run iron. So for that reason, you know, when it comes to the thickness of a sight, you know, you have options. Usually when the sight doesn't have a top mounted battery, or usually when the sight has a top mounted battery or side mounted battery, you're able to reduce the back end of the optic so that you can use your sights. As you can see on this one, and this is also like this is an RMR cut. I can clearly see same suppressor height sights clearly above the optic, and they probably 1/3 co-witness with the irons through the red dot. This one, I'm barely peeking at it. And like I said, while I can use them, and I trust that my hits will be good, because I know that as long as I can see the top of that sight, and usually I cut my target, if I'm aiming at a bullseye, I cut my bullseye in half with the top of that front sight, and I'm usually right on the bullseye, I know I should be good. Time will tell about, you know, not functionality, but I guess durability. I haven't dropped it yet. I haven't beat on it yet. I'm not one of these guys who comes out here and torture tests his products. I'm a little bit anal about keeping my things looking good. And if they happen to drop and get dinged up, I'm not going to freak out about it, because I buy budget gear and I don't care. But I also buy products that I am, you know, I'm good with the warranty on them. So if for some reason the warranty, if this thing were to break, I can send it back. But, you know, I haven't beat it up yet. I just want to give you guys a picture of it, because when it came out at SHOT Show, it caught my attention. It looked really good. I actually bought it because my vendor said that for some reason it was RMR cut, and it was not. It did not come with RMR plates. I will tell you that the way I received it from my vendor, I was not impressed with, because it just came in a basic box with a basic foam lining. The sight was not even sitting in the lining correctly. It did not have any instructions with it. I don't know if the vendor that I got it from had opened that up and sent me one that was peeked at or used or whatever, but it just didn't impress me when I got it, because it seemed like it was low quality, you know, from the packaging perspective. Like, it looked like someone just threw together some packaging, threw the optic in there, and then sent it out. And I am a fan of customer service and things that look good and pretty when they come to me. So if it comes to me in a nice box, I am very impressed, and you got my attention. Let's see what else you got. This one kind of lost my attention just off of the packaging alone. The fact that it didn't have any instructions in it. I mean, I knew it was shake awake. I mean, it's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Up means brighter, down means lower, but how do you turn it off? I don't know. I had to figure it out. I'm only 99% of the time is holding down the lower intensity button so that it will shut itself off. But, you know, you don't know without instructions. Some people need those instructions to kind of get used to the products that they buy. But other than that, like I said, it's mounted up right now. Plate wise, I'm going to probably run it. I'm going to run at least, I don't know. I got 100 rounds of Winchester 230 grain ball ammunition, 45 caliber. So it's not like I'm going to be babying it. It's not mounted to a 22. I'm going to see what it does for at least this 100 rounds. See if it comes loose, you know, see if it holds at 0. I locked everything down really good. And, you know, if something were to go wrong with this in the next, you know, couple 100 rounds, it comes off the gun. I want something that's reliable, and I'm going to let you know about that. Other than that, I don't, you know, until I figure out what I want to put on this gun, which I might go back to the optic that was already on it. It might be a hollow sun. I don't know. This gun is not one of my carry options. It is considered a full size 45 caliber pistol. And while it is carryable, it weighs a lot. I don't shoot it as often, and so I don't really care what optic is on it. But, you know, just because this is, you know, FN, I wanted something nice on it, so I thought I would try it on here. And the fact that I could not get this to work on anything else. So with that said, that is all I have for you on the Riton Tacix 1 EED. It's a basic enclosed emitter optic. You see how high it's going to sit on the gun unless you have an aim point acro cut. It is something that, you know, maybe not in everybody's budget, because I think it's going to come in right around $200, but it is lower than the cost of, you know, maybe your budget or lower end hollow sun. I think maybe you might be able to get a hollow sun, which I've never been able to find on any other vendor except for Palmetto State Armory. You might be able to pick one up on sale for about $199. Which, if that were the case, I probably would go with the hollow sun again. Oh yeah, I missed one thing. I have to talk about this because this is a reason why people might want to go with an enclosed emitter. When you're running a pistol like this one, which is ported, it's going to be kicking up dust and powder everywhere, and I'm constantly having to clean off that lens. I've even had powder somehow cover the lens that covers the diode, which made the diode blurry in the optic itself. So yeah, maybe that is the reason why. But if you're running clean ammunition, if you're not out here like me running thousands of rounds, it probably don't matter to you to have an enclosed emitter optic on your gun. It's just bigger. It's just bulky. For me, since I do carry, yeah, I don't want that big giant block, kind of like, you know, printing, showing everything that I'm carrying. I want something that's tight. So for this form factor, yes, but for some of the others, definitely a hard no. But with that said, I'm going to close this video out. You guys kind of know what it looks like, how it rides on the gun. This is what it looks like on a 5.45. Actually mounts up pretty nice on a 5.45. And actually pointing it, even though it has a smaller window, I do not, because, you know, I pretty much try to present the whole time. I mean, the same way every time. I can pick that dot up really easily every time I do this. And right now, I basically sighted this the way I do all of my red dots. I pretty much iron sight them, I guess. I take the dot and I move it until it is projecting right on the back of my front sight, right where I want it to be. And because I know my grip and my hold, I'm confident that I am going to get a good first hit. It's hitting this little 3-inch target, 5 yards. I mean, that ain't much, but it's hitting the 3-inch target for a 25-yard zero. So if I were to move that over to 25 yards, I should be nailing that little 3-inch target right in the center. And I'm happy with that. So with that said, that's the end of this video. I'm going to run these rounds. I got to get home. I promised the kid I'll take him bowling at 3 o'clock. And I'm done. Couldn't bring out all the toys today. So, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.